With interest in air travel on the rise, small regional airlines gave adventurous passengers a chance to fly on their airmail routes. With few seats available, tickets were extremely hard to come by. The humorist Will Rogers, told there was no more room for passengers on an airmail flight, went to the post office, bought enough stamps, and successfully mailed himself to his destination. There was, however, one man who was quick to recognize the demand. Clement Keyes was an investment banker who had the revolutionary notion that there could be real money in flying people. In 1929, Keyes created Transcontinental Air Transport, TAT, which would one day become TWA. Keyes' unique idea was to offer passengers the first ever coast-to-coast service, traveling on airplanes during the day and trains at night. In a stroke of public relations genius, Keyes hired Charles Lindbergh as an advisor, then named the route the Lindbergh Line. On special occasions, passengers were treated to a flyby from Lucky Lindy himself. But for all the glamour, it was a humble beginning. Whenever there was a problem with a plane, frustrated travelers found themselves back on trains. One passenger, who ended up traveling all the way from New York to Los Angeles by train, begged a conductor, "Will you at least take me to the airport and let me see an airplane?"
Many passengers were shocked to find out that they spent more time on trains than they spent on planes, because the airlines were very reluctant to fly people at night. They flew mail at night, but they were reluctant to actually fly people at night because of the possibility of accidents, which were almost bound to be fatal.
But soon, the demand for passenger service would lead to the creation of bigger and safer planes. The most advanced was the Ford Trimotor. Also known as the flying boxcar. Made from corrugated aluminum and fitted with 3 Wright Whirlwind engines, the Trimotor could stay aloft in conditions that would send older planes into a tailspin. Nevertheless, flying in a Trimotor was not for the faint of heart. Pilot Ernest K. Gann was well aware of what his passengers had to endure.
Immediately on boarding, passengers were offered chewing gum, which would allegedly ease the pressure changes on their eardrums during climb and descent. They were also offered cotton, which wise passengers stuffed in their ears, so they'd be able to hear ordinary conversations once they were again on the ground. In the Fords, there were no seat belts. Only hand grips were provided to stabilize passengers. While they bounced around in low-altitude turbulence, the passengers muttered about air pockets. And a high percentage of them became airsick. Summertime flying could become a purgatory. Even with a few windows open, the cabin atmosphere developed a sourness which only time and scrubbing could remove.
Passengers who availed themselves of the lavatory found a surprise waiting for them when they tried to use the toilet.
Once the cover of the toilet was raised, there was revealed a bombardier's direct view of the passing landscape several thousand feet below. And the chill factor instantly discouraged any loitering.
One early passenger declared, "When the day was over, my bones ached. and my whole nervous system was wearied from the noise. But despite the hardships, trimotor flights were regularly filled, for the first time carrying as many as 10 passengers to cities and towns across America. Something remarkable had happened. The age of the daredevil had given way to the age of the passenger. And in the years that lay ahead, one brilliant breakthrough after another would enable more and more people to experience what Anne Morrow Lindbergh called the freedom of a bird. It was a freedom built on the daring of the men and women who first took to the skies.
Since flight is not a natural function of man, since it has been slowly built and not suddenly discovered, it cannot be suspended, as the word freedom is suspended in the mind. It rests firmly supported on a structure of laws, laws to which plane and man alike must conform. Not only must a man know how his plane is made, what it will do, how it must be cared for, but also whether it will go high enough to clear any elevation on the route. He must know how to navigate through a signless sky, what weather conditions he may meet on his way. All this he must know before he can win the freedom of a bird.